You have probably heard that reflection is important for growth and for preventing burnout. But if you're anything like me, traditional journaling hasn't been able to stick. Hi there, I'm Dr. Tina Wheat. I'm a family medicine physician, an educator, and also a career and life coach who helps healthcare workers conquer their chaos and get to calm. And today, I want to talk with you about something simple but often overlooked. When we talk about burnout, stress, and the feeling of just trying to make it through the day. And that something is reflection. Now, before you roll your eyes or tune out, thinking that I am going to tell you to start a color coded journal or to buy a gratitude planner from Instagram, I hope you'll stay with me. Know that those are all reasonable actions to take, but they're not for everyone. Because reflection, when it is done in a way that feels authentic, is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to avoid burnout, reclaim your time, and reconnect with what matters to you. But here's the thing, reflection often feels hard, and there are reasons why it feels hard. So let's start there. Why does it feel so tough to reflect in the first place? Well, for some of us, it is because we are avoiding something. Reflection can feel like facing the music, and when life is overwhelming, who has time for that? And who wants to do that? Sometimes it is about shame, or sometimes it's about guilt. We are afraid that if we slow down long enough to really look at how we are doing, we might not like what we find. And other times, it is because we have been sold this idea that there is only one way to reflect, and it has to look a certain way. That's journaling, long meditations, slow, quiet mornings with perfect, exact handwriting. You might have said or just thought, I hate journaling. I personally was never that person who kept a diary and poured my heart out. So if you ever said this, then same. Growing up, I always liked the idea of those little diaries with the locks on them. My mom definitely bought me several over the years, but most of them, they actually went untouched after just one day. Not because I didn't have thoughts or feelings or like the idea of it, because it never felt like the right fit for me and never really became a habit for what I wanted to do. And if that's you, that is okay. And I want you to hear this. There is no one right way to reflect. So if there's no one right way to reflect, let's talk about what reflection can look like. Because the good news is that reflection is not one size fits all. In fact, it can be something that you already do without even realizing it. It might be when you're driving, taking a shower, taking the dog for a walk, or just sitting in silence with your morning cup of coffee. So, here are a few alternatives to traditional journaling that I often recommend to my coaching clients, and some that I use myself. The first is just to have ready prompts. A single sentence can unlock a lot. Those prompts might be something like, what's one thing that went well today? Or it might be, what trained me more than I expected today or this week? You can also use your voice memos. Open your phone's recorder and just talk. You don't need structure, just speak freely. You might be surprised by what comes out and what it makes you realize. The next is mindful moments, sitting quietly and breathing. No agenda, just letting your thoughts catch up with you. And those can happen at any time. And then there's movement, walks, runs, yoga. Physical activity can help untangle the mental knots. I get some of my clearest thoughts walking to a store as I'm walking through my neighborhood or just walking on the treadmill. And then there are the quick self-checks. Ask yourself a single question during transitions, maybe like while you're brushing your teeth or waiting for your coffee to brew. Those small moments can create a valuable time for a reset. What matters most about these options is that the method fits you, that it doesn't feel like just another task on your to-do list, but it feels like a time where you can reset. Now, what about when you are feeling stuck? Maybe you try to reflect and you just sit there and come up blank. Or maybe you don't trust your own read on a situation. Well, in these moments, I find it valuable to remember that reflection does not have to be a solo process. You can always reach out to someone you trust. You can ask them for your perspective, and not in a big dramatic way, just simple like, hey, how did I come across during that meeting? Or what did you notice about how I handled that situation? Or one that I've used before with clients is, how do you know when I am feeling extra stressed out? Sometimes other people can reflect something back to us that we are struggling to see clearly. They can help name patterns, they can validate instincts, or even offer gentle nudges. And that counts as reflection too. It is still valuable. So, what should you reflect on? Honestly, you can reflect on anything. There are no set rules. It has to feel authentic to you. But there are a few areas that I return to often and recommend that you at least consider. And the first of that is gratitude. This is especially true when things feel heavy. Just naming one thing that went well, even if it's tiny, like I got 5 quiet minutes alone today, can shift your mindset and open up some breathing room. You can also reflect on what you've done, not just what's left. We are constantly bombarded with what we haven't finished, but taking a moment to reflect on what you have done helps you. I call this making it your done list. This allows you to see your capacity. It allows you to notice when you are doing things that maybe weren't yours to carry. And it allows you to ask yourself, what can I let go of? I find this done list to be especially helpful when I'm feeling stressed. The next place that you can reflect is your progress. Are the actions that you are taking moving you towards the life that you want, or are they pulling you away from it? This kind of reflection does not have to be judgmental. It can just be information. It can be a gentle way of checking in on your direction. One of the biggest myths about reflection is that it takes a long time, that you have to have a long period of time dedicated, that you need a quiet hour and a candle and a latte. Now, obviously that is really nice when it happens, but it is certainly not necessary for your reflection to be meaningful and effective. Some of my favorite moments of reflection are only 2 to 3 minutes long. My favorite place actually to reflect is in the shower where no one can bother me. After I've put my kids to bed, sometimes when I have a solo lunch at work, when I'm getting into the car and thinking about either the beginning of my day or the end of the day. And sometimes that is all that it takes. It just takes a brief pause to ask myself, what is it that I am carrying right now? What do I need before the next thing? And what is one win from today or from yesterday? These tiny pauses help you shift from reactive to intentional. And when you do that regularly, it adds up. It can make your entire strategy shift from reactive to intentional. So now I'd like to share a practical tool that I have built into my routine that helps me reflect without really adding any extra time. And some of you might know this. This is the Pomodoro technique. And it's usually sold as a time management strategy because it is. It is where you work for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, or you work for 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute break. Now, I structure my calendar around these breaks. I try not to schedule meetings unless they fall between the blocks, unless they are truly urgent. And what do I do during those breaks? Well, I take care of myself and I reflect. It's not always in a structured way, but I'm able to reflect enough to ask myself, what just happened? Did that feel aligned with my energy or values? And what do I need for the next stretch? These micro reflections are able to create a rhythm. They become the reps that build the muscle. So when it is time to reflect on the bigger questions, like my purpose or burnout, or if I need a change, it doesn't feel so foreign. It feels like a continuation of something that I've already been doing, just with a greater focus. Here is what I want you to take away today. Reflection isn't about doing it right. It is about getting curious. It's about asking, what is true for me right now? What is working? What isn't working? What do I want more of? And what do I want less of? You do not need a journal. though you can get one if you love them. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You just need to pause. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you know something needs to shift, but you're not sure where to start, then I invite you to come to my free on-demand masterclass. It is called Pathway from Chaos to Calm. It is designed for people like you, people who are doing so much, carrying so much, and looking for practical, honest tools to find their way back to balance. And it's only about 30 minutes. I will drop the link in the description so that you can sign up right now. Thanks for being here, and I hope you give yourself permission to pause, even if it is just for a minute. You truly deserve that much. And if this resonated with you, then I hope you will like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you're notified every time a new video comes out. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that you are able to conquer your chaos.